everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap that notification bell, and like this video. That helps me to keep making videos, and I would appreciate it majorly. So I saw this article that, they could be possibly getting towards a settlement soon, MGM Resorts and the victims of the October 1st shooting in Vegas, Stephen Paddock, Mandalay Bay. It seems like forever ago now, and that's it's a shame. It's all a shame. I was surprised by the dollar figures though that are being reported, and 800 million is the number out here, and according to some of the sort of defense counsel, that's like it could go higher. It almost makes me scratch my head, like what have we all been talking about? Not necessarily us making videos on YouTube, but all this time it's like they're quibbling over 50 million here, 20 million there, or whatever. I mean, I thought MGM was going to be coming in much lower than 800 million, based on some of the tactics in the media, having sued the victims each for like $1,000 or some crazy thing, because of I forget why that was. It was a tactic to get it changed to a federal court, so that I think to employ the Safety Act and all that. I don't know. I was surprised by the numbers. This seems to be the starting point, the 800 million and above, because they're, like I said, there's a famous prominent attorney who I know I've seen this guy's name before, Robert Eglett, who I think is based in Las Vegas, even though he's representing claims from Nevada, California, and other states. 4,200 claimants, people who have not formally filed damages. He says that, that's not the number. It's higher, I think. However, a lawyer handling mediation talks for plaintiffs called it premature for the corporate owner of Mandalay Bay Resorts to report a possible settlement range between 735 and 800 million. Actually, Mandalay Bay is the one who's reporting that number. I didn't know that either. Casino giant MGM has told regulators in the United States it may pay up to $800,000 to settle liability lawsuits stemming from the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas, the deadliest in the country's modern history. The company believes it is reasonably possible that a settlement will be reached by next May. It told the Securities and Exchange Commission in a quarterly report released on Tuesday. Okay. So MGM's also said it had 751 million in insurance to pay towards the settlement. That was another piece of information that's. So all this time they have that, basically, that the insurance company is going to pay. Naturally, that's not free. Their insurance premiums going forward are going to be affected by that adversely. I was stunned by these numbers, just because I really did think that, based on the way they were posturing themselves, I thought they were going to be coming in much lower than this, But initially, this is the dollar values that I definitely had in mind. But I just thought they were playing major hardball, and to save many hundred millions dollars. And it looks like, they're not saving it. So MGM Resorts has defended itself against liability claims, outraging victims last summer when it filed lawsuits against more than 1,900 people in a bid to consolidate claims in one federal court. The plaintiffs are seeking compensation for a range of physical and psychological harm after a gunman rained gunfire from Mandalay Bay. So, they point to findings that the gunman, the MGM Resorts, which owns the high-rise hotel and owned a concert venue across Las Vegas Boulevard, they accuse them of failing to adequately protect the 22,000 people. They point to findings that the gunman spent several days amassing an arsenal. Eglett said he reviewed the SEC document on Thursday and agreed that a settlement needed to be reached within a year. Company spokesman Deborah DeShong said the progress has been made Progress has been made after multiple mediation sessions over several months. I guess there's a time clock to that. There is to that mediation, and they can't just mediate forever, and it has a 1 year limit before they have to come to some kind of conclusion, something like that. Anyways, that's the gist of what's the newest news. It's interesting, and where am I in all this? I never kind of wrapped up everything that I was saying, because I kind of have changed my mind in terms of. I went on and on about the door, and I was so sure about the door. I really, really was. I believe me. I can be a peculiar cat for sure. Because I was telling you what I really believed. I wasn't playing some role to, toy with people or anything like that. I really thought it was cut open. But I've seen in videos, which you don't even have up here since then, that where I just looked at it a little closer, and it's not. You can clearly see the astrogol still on the door, where it's hanging there, and it's in one piece. And why they, I guess they did have to, break apart that door. I mean, I do think that it cracked at a certain spot. The individual who came up with the theory that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, that when they kick the door down, you can hear them kicking it down, that probably put a crack right in that spot, right above the deadbolt. It is peculiar. The coincidences are huge. Making it look like, it was cut there to, and then maybe it was fully broken into two pieces for taking photographs, for evidence, whatever. I don't know. I tell you this, one thing that really, that's not necessarily mentioned, at least in the videos that I've seen, and I haven't seen them all. There's so many of them. There's hours and hours of body cam videos and people making videos on YouTube. And many people who are making videos on YouTube have put way more time into this than me, And some of those people get mad when you just come up with an idea like I do without looking at it super, super closely. But, it's a free country, man. I can express my opinion. So, but one thing I haven't seen considered in all this, looking at the lock reports and all that to try to prove that there was more than one person in there. What's possible is the only possibility. There is my only other to a conspiracy. My thought is that basically the person remained in there until the breach. That is a possibility, and that basically all these other things, because there are serious peculiarities in the evidence, in the crime scene photos. It looks like things are purposely moved. You have wires that are put, in 134 door to make it look like there's some kind of defect there, whether it's a crack or a cut. I obsessed over it being a cut. The strap, which I believe is a cane. No, it's not a canine strap. It's supposedly the other end of the explosive strip. They have to pull it, I think, to ignite it or to set it off. And that was hanging on the door and tucked into the door, almost making the opposing door's defect, and what I call a crack, kind of blend in and stuff like that. And all these other changes in, the sandals next to the door, they're not next to the door, and another thing, and using different cameras and stuff, which, they have different cameras probably. Different people working on a crime scene. They're not all, not everything's uniform. Things are bought at different times. Equipment's, different and stuff. I lost my train of thought, but basically what I'm saying is it's almost like they're trying to, and this is just a stretch. It is trying to make it look like there's something nefarious going on, like somebody came from the outside, somebody cut that door to make people, silly people like me, think it. Probably not. But the only there is the possibility that all this is completely mute if there's somebody in the room when they breach, and then they just walk right out, and obviously, they don't walk right out. That would mean that law enforcement's in on it, and that law enforcement in Las Vegas is, there's a bad element there. That's then that does exist. There's bad cops all over the place. So, that's the only other, that's my only possibility in terms of a conspiracy. Because the door wasn't cut, it wasn't until after the fact, in my view, based on looking at other things. And like I said, I've seen the body cam video of it hanging there, and the door's in perfect condition. You can see the astragol still on there. It's all odd. I haven't looked at it in a long time. What is all this? And obviously some of these people have revealed themselves, and and maybe this was just my my wild imagination, just out of control, getting the best of me. It's very possible. The coincidences are astronomical, though. This dude who has revealed himself, he's shown his face, and he is the dude that these other two creators sent me. Who I was like, there's no way that's this dude, because it's supposedly, I think, he was ill, very ill, like, an illness that could kill you. But there was videos that he, previously had made where his hands looked like he was an old man, not somebody in his 50s, and then it changed right around when I got the photo and I got some of the identification from other creators telling me who he was, and it didn't make sense to me. Now, would this person have been swapped out? Did they come up with this guy who had the perfect initials that were just so similar to this dude over here, man? This big creator who I thought was, distantly related to this attorney in Vegas, and I'm not going through it all again. Is there anything to this? There might be, man. I don't know. It's just so damn weird, and I just gave up on it. And I pretty much still have. And it's so strange, dude. You got this guy making videos. I haven't even checked his channel in a while. His stuff has dropped off because Vegas has dropped off, man. And he had this debate with him, which to me looks totally fake. He said he was in Thailand, and that's one of the things they talked about. This attorney represented a client who had been convicted of the biggest child porn ring in American history, and he was operating the website. It was a ring of child porn websites, was based out of Thailand. He had another associate or employee who had been tied up in something that wasn't child porn. It was a scam to defraud people out of their investment money, and they had come up with this crazy online trading website that made it look like people were when it was just fake. It was just like a simulation. People thought they were trading real dollars when they weren't, and they were basically stealing their money. And the dollar figures that they were people seeing on their screens was fake figures, and their money was gone. And that it was a website. It was an online trading website that fooled people into thinking they were trading their it was their account, like an online, I don't want to use a company's name and implicate anybody because there wasn't a company, but that was based out of Thailand as well. And so this dude had the last name of this attorney. When you researched it with the last name of this huge creator, brought up this person that had, this person. And this person didn't turn out to be the guy I was shown, and he's now shown his face. But they lived in the same area. And was the person who's now shown his face, swapped out for this person? And he had the perfect initials. He had the perfect initials of a relative of this person, a very, not in his immediate family, but very close relative to this person. So strange. And this guy, I've seen it's right there. It's not like I did a whole lot of digging, but yeah, it wasn't right. You'd have to look at photos and look at comments, and you'd have to look at the comments to understand what the photo was of. But it showed this person went to Saudi Arabia, at least visited there, which is a strange place to visit. People do it, but if you do, I don't know, that's different. And this person's brother had done the same thing. This guy, this attorney, had visited Saudi Arabia, and the Saudis owning floors in Mandalay Bay. My whole theory was that it was there was drug dealing going on. Paddock was a drug dealer, and that his whole routine was bringing in a ton of bags that were empty, going up to a suite. Actually, weren't empty. Probably had all his clothes and stuff because he was going to live there for the next couple of months. Unpack, and then they would, then somebody would come down with the drugs, and he'd fill up all those bags with drugs, and then they would bring it right back out of the hotel and fly it all over the country. And he's a pilot and stuff like that. That was my theory. Is this all bogus? Maybe. A lot of just big coincidences, man. It's just strange. That's pretty much the story there. I'm sure this is the end of it. Probably the end of Vegas for me. My real last video of Vegas. I will say this. I do think basically this is going to get the settlement here. This is going to be political. And because it is still, I don't know. I mean, they're in mediation. I guess the notion that it being treated as a safety act issue, like a true act of terrorism, and them getting federal assistance to basically bail them out. I guess that's completely over, but I don't know. That was the whole reason for mediation, is to basically put everything on hold and stop the clock. So is that still a possibility? I just think this is going to get political, and I think the presidential campaign can actually, play into this. And can the casino industry deliver a state like Nevada, and then all of a sudden, that flips a switch and this thing becomes, an act of terrorism or whatever, and it gets the kind of federal assistance that the casino wants? Possible, very possible. Or the insurance industry, or whoever the insurance company that owes that $751 million, are they able to deliver a key something key in the presidential election, as key state, whether it's Nevada or something else, and that does a similar thing and flips the switch so that it becomes a federal act of terror, real act of terrorism, and those dollars, federal. So that was pretty much the end of the video, but I got cut off. I don't know why my system's doing that. I do not have a ton of stuff on my computer. I delete everything almost right away. I do not get it. Whatever. It's the end of this video. It's a mess, but I seriously doubt I'm going to redo it because for time. I just do not have the time. Well, I appreciate you watching my videos. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.